Welcome to the yearly bracketology show at Draft Utopia. I'm Chris Ransom. I'll be the only one here tonight, but me, myself, and I don't know why I quoted that movie, but yeah. The tribute, CBS is doing a quick little tribute to Greg Gumbel, and once that is done, the brackets will be unveiled, and yep. Yeah, Adam Zucker and Seth Davis weren't on the 5 p.m. show, but then as soon as 6 p.m. comes, they zoom into the studio and with Jay Wright and I think that's Clark Kellogg. I'm not sure, but those two feel like regulars for both the media coverage, and Zucker and Seth Davis are only there for the games, the bracketology. And yet we're waiting. Yeah, because I've got 2 brackets ready to code. And is Auburn going to remain the number 1 overall seed and go in this? Yeah, it is Auburn. Okay. Just a little bit surprised that they remain the number 1 overall seed over Duke, even with the losses. But the SEC bias is off the charts this year. I think Duke should have been the number 1 overall seed. I know their conference is weaker. You literally picked the worst time to do that. Louisville, I'm tempted to pick Louisville to beat Auburn. They look good against Duke. I am very tempted to pick Louisville. It depends. It depends on. I don't think Arena's losing early, though, 2 years in a row. I don't think Bruce Arena is going to lose. Because remember, Bruce Arena lost to Yale in the round of 32 last year. I don't think Arena's losing twice 2 years in a row. And Michigan's a 5 seed in this bracket. So, again, Michigan won the Big Ten. That might be the 5-12 upset. Let's see who Michigan draws. UC San Diego. Okay, and they've got a better record than Michigan. I'm very tempted to take them in a conference upset, but we'll see. I might go with, well, let's just see how these brackets look before we Texas A&M. And Yale. Yale in the Sweet 16 as a 13 seed is a very trendy pick. I hate Michigan, I hate Yale, but I do not trust Michigan in this tournament. Yale looks like a very good dark horse candidate to make the Sweet 16 as a 13 seed. And North Carolina's in the fucking tournament, which is bullshit. They did not earn that spot. They did not do enough, in my honest opinion, to earn that play-in game. So they took a spot from a team that deserved to be in. I do think Ole Miss is a good team. I mean, Ole Miss is probably going to be one of the teams. It just depends how the bracket ends up looking. Iowa State is the 3 seed, and they're going to play Lipscomb. Very tempting to take Lipscomb in a 14-3 upset. I got to see who the players are on each team. Marquette is the 7th seed. New Mexico, the top seed in the Mountain West, who didn't win the Mountain West tournament but was the top seed in the conference tournament, is the 10 seed. Michigan State was the top seed in the Big Ten. And I don't know how I feel about this, but Michigan State, they're going to play the Bryant Bulldogs in the 2:15 matchup. And then the other play-in game is San Diego State versus North Carolina. And yes, something I always do is I always pick against teams. I never pick a team to. I know UCLA went on a run to the Final Four in the play-in bracket, but we'll see what happens here. All right. I'm also going to load another web page. I'll load this bracket during the commercials, and I'll update this bracket during the commercials. I do think North Carolina is going to win the play-in game. And I'm going to pick the St. Francis Red Flash to win the other play-in game. So that's the first 4. But looking at the top of this bracket, I'll try to fill out as much of this as humanly possible. Auburn Tigers are clearly going to be in the round of 32. I also like the Louisville Cardinals in the round of 32. Maybe. I want to look at Louisville and Creighton. I want to look at the NBA talent. on display. I want to look at how many NBA prospects from each team. Does Louisville or Creighton have a first-round prospect? Nick Clifford has moved into the late first round in some mocks. So, and Kalkbrenner is on Creighton. You know what? We're taking Creighton. I did not know they had an NBA prospect and Louisville didn't. We're going to take Creighton to pull the upset. See, whenever I'm unsure of two teams that are very even on paper, I always go with the brackets. Michigan Wolverines, I'm going to take Michigan to beat Creighton. I'm going to take Yale to beat Texas A&M. I know the SEC's been really good this year. I just do not trust A&M, and I think Yale's going to pull another upset. So that's what I have so far. And Michigan does have a first-round center in the NBA draft. But yeah, we will go back to the other screen now. Duke is in, so the top bracket. Mississippi State, sneaky good team. That could be a round of 32 upset. I love Duke this year. I think they've got the most complete team in the country, but that could be a trap game. Baylor, I am probably going to pick Baylor, though. They have BJ Edgecombe. I'm probably going to pick Baylor. But Mississippi State does have the talent to go toe-to-toe with Duke, so I'm a little nervous about that game on Sunday. Oregon's going to play as the 5 seed. And they are going to play Liberty. Liberty, the Conference USA champions. And if you remember, Oregon beat Liberty in the Rose Bowl a few years ago when Bo Nix was there. So this is payback for Liberty. That might be our 5-12 upset. Arizona is the 4 seed. And they will play Akron in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, if Michigan did not have an NBA prospect, I would have probably picked Yale to go to the Sweet 16, but I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to run into a team that has more talent than them, no matter how good they are, no matter how disciplined they play. BYU is the 6th seed in this bracket. They will take Virginia VCU. Virginia Commonwealth is another team I'm looking at and penciling in and saying, okay, they won their conference tournament, better record than BYU. That's an upset I'm looking at. I'm looking at VCU. That does look like an upset waiting to happen in this bracket. The Wisconsin Badgers are the 3 seed in this bracket. And they will play Montana. Montana did win their conference tournament, but I just think Wisconsin probably a better team on paper. Don't see them losing back-to-back. St. Mary's, they will play Friday in Cleveland, Ohio. Who will their opponent be? But this feels like the bracket with the least amount of parity. And Vanderbilt as a 10 seed, given how we'll see how this bracket ends up looking. And then the 2-15 matchup, Alabama is the 2 seed in this bracket, and there's a lot of people that are going to pick Alabama to beat Duke. Mainly because the SEC's had a lot tougher competition versus previous years. And they will play Robert Morris. Okay, Robert Morris, the winner of the Horizon League. Robert Morris does have a better record than Alabama. I'm tempted to take Robert Morris, but I think I'm overthinking it. Alabama, they do have an NBA prospect. And then there's the American Mount St. Mary's game at the bottom of the screen here that we got to update. I'm probably going to take American to win that. Yeah, and I'm going to type American Eagles. Maybe I'll take Mount St. Mary's. Let's type in let's try that. All right, so we'll take Mount St. Mary's in that bracket. And then I'm just going to copy and paste the teams in the 1/16 portion of the bracket. All right, so okay. So we will go back to the upper bracket here, and we're going to fill out part of the upper bracket during these commercials because that's really my window of opportunity to fill out the upper part of the bracket. San Diego, you know what? I'm going to take Ole Miss. I'll probably regret it. But the SEC has been so much better than the ACC this year, even though North Carolina does have the most NBA prospects. Nah, we need another upset. I've got North Carolina. Nah. We'll go with Ole Miss. I was tempted to go with the Tar Heels. I know my golden rule is to pick the team. Does Iowa State or Lipscomb have an NBA prospect? Because Lipscomb has a better record than Iowa State. All right. We're going to take Iowa State. And then Michigan State, we're going to take New Mexico over Marquette, unless Marquette has an NBA prospect. They do, so we're going to take Marquette. And we're going to take Michigan State. Okay. So the top 32 on this side of the bracket. So, guys, here's my bracket. Here's the round of 32 for this side of the bracket. But we're going to go back to sharing this tab. And Houston is the 1 seed in the second half of this bracket. SIU Edwardsville. Gonzaga is the 8th seed. And they will play Georgia. So a battle of the Bulldogs between Gonzaga and Georgia. Haven't decided who I like in that 8-9 matchup yet. Clemson's the 5 seed in this bracket. Clemson McNeese State. McNeese. Purdue. I like High Point, another 13 seed. I mean, Purdue lost Zach Edey. High Point won their conference. High Point's another potential upset. There's a lot of 13 seeds that I love this year. There's a lot of bland 12 seeds, but there's also a lot of 13 seeds that I love this year that I think should have been seeded higher. High Point might be one of those teams. We'll see. Illinois. Illinois is a sneaky good 6 seed in this bracket. They might do something. And they are going to get Texas or Xavier in the final play-in game. So that's a good draw, but I'm going to take Illinois probably to win that one. Kentucky is the 3 seed in this bracket. That's not a bad draw. And they get the Troy Trojans, who do have a better record than Kentucky. They did win the Sun Belt tournament. The Sun Belt champion Troy Trojans will face Kentucky. UCLA, the 7 seed, is going to play Utah State in the 7-10 matchup. And Tennessee is the 2 seed in this bracket. Tennessee might end up in the Final Four this year. It just depends. I think right now it definitely looks like Tennessee-Houston is on a collision course for the Elite Eight in this bracket. Same with Duke, Alabama in the other bracket. Wofford, the Wofford Terriers. So the Wofford Terriers are the 15th seed in this bracket, and all right, so we're going to tab and we are going to update some stuff here. So all the play-in winners have been listed below, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the all the games from this region of the bracket, and we're going to copy and paste this third region of the bracket to so yeah, I've filled out one chunk of the bracket. I'm going to fill out the other portion of the bracket during the commercials here. Duke Blue Devils will be the first team to punch a ticket, and they will play the Baylor Bears. My strategy's always been to pick the teams with the most NBA talent. That's just been okay. So I accidentally entered the wrong data in the wrong part of the bracket. Sorry about that. That's on me, guys. Okay. Oregon plays Liberty. Does Oregon have any NBA draft prospects, or am I taking Liberty to pull the upset? This might be my 5-12 upset here. Yeah, because my strategy's always been to pick the team with the most NBA prospects. And looking at, yes, so we are going to take Liberty. Liberty will be the 12th seed that I picked to pull the upset. They did win the Conference USA tournament, I believe. Yeah, Liberty won the Conference USA tournament, so they're going to be my 5-12 upset. Arizona, they are going to play Akron, and Arizona's going to win. BYU plays Virginia Commonwealth. BYU has Igor Demon. So BYU wins that one. Wisconsin and Montana. Does Wisconsin have any NBA prospects? We'll take Wisconsin. I don't see Wisconsin losing 2 in a row. Very tempted to take Montana in the upset, but I don't see Wisconsin losing 2 in a row after getting humiliated in the Big Ten championship on CBS. So, again, this is my bracket. It's what it looks like so far. I'm not going to get into the Sweet 16 matchups just yet. And the final bracket is here, so we got to go back to the top of the page here. And the final bracket. And Florida. Florida is going to be the 1 seed in this bracket. They're going to get Norfolk State. UConn, the 2-time NCAA champions, they're going to play on Friday. They're going to play Oklahoma. Might take UConn to beat Florida. That might be my 8v1 upset. I don't know yet. I'm looking. Florida's a very good team. They won the SEC tournament. And the SEC's just been bonkers good this year. Memphis is the 5 seed in this bracket. So Colorado State is in this bracket since they did win the Mountain West tournament. Are they the 12 seed? Okay. That's our second 5v12 upset. As much as I love Memphis, I don't think Memphis is a first-round prospect in this year's NBA draft, and Colorado State does. The guy who was considered a second-round pick initially is now a consensus first-round pick. But yeah, Maryland is the 4 seed in this bracket. I think Memphis is. I would take Memphis or Colorado State over Maryland. Grand Canyon could upset Maryland, but I'm not that naive. I'll probably pick Maryland, but Colorado State I do think is a legitimate Sweet 16 contender in this bracket. Missouri's a 6 seed. I might have Colorado State in the Elite Eight. It just depends. Drake, I might pick Drake to beat Missouri. They won their conference tournament. They are one of the better, more trendy upsets. So I got to think that over. I do. I legitimately have to think that over. Texas Tech. Texas Tech, they did make the did they make the Big 12 championship for basketball? They're going to play UNC Wilmington. And then we'll get the final 2 games for the bracket, and then I'll Kansas is the 7 seed in this bracket, and they're getting Arkansas. So Bill Self has another long-awaited date with John Calipari, and it is in this March Madness tournament. Depends. I don't know whether I'm taking Arkansas and Calipari or if I'm taking Bill Self. I haven't decided on that. That's a tough one. St. John's, really good, underrated 2 seed. St. John's, Rick Pitino. I might pick St. John's to go to the Final Four in this bracket. I haven't decided yet. And Omaha. All right, so that's the bracket. So that's the official bracket, and then okay. All right, perfect. Perfect. And we will share this tab now. Because now that because this is the official March Madness bracket, this is going to have the results of each game. This bracket is going to have the who I'm projecting to win each round of the tournament. You literally pick the worst time to X out of my fucking. You don't X out when I'm doing a live stream, okay? I know my internet's X'd out on me. Snow Leopard's X'd out on me in certain occasions. This is not the time to do that. KDKA, how do I put this? I do not care about your weather updates. I would completely ignore it for March Madness information. I would. Well, all right. So I am updating this, and I'm about to start filling out winners for the third part of the bracket. We've got all the play-in game winners listed. Houston Cougars are going to be the first. I'll check to make sure if Houston or SIU Edwardsville has a draft prospect in the draft. No, they don't. So Houston, they did win their conference tournament. I do put a little bit of stock into that. So I'm going to put Houston in as the winner of this bracket. But Houston, Gonzaga, or Georgia. Does Gonzaga or Georgia have a prospect worth a damn? I'll just take Gonzaga. They did win their conference tournament. Clemson Tigers. Purdue does not. High Point. We're going to take High Point to pull the upset over Purdue. Oh, Georgia has Asa Newell. Never mind. I'm changing the Gonzaga pick to Georgia. So, all right. Illinois Fighting Illini. They are stacked, and I'm looking at Kentucky, and I'm looking at the Troy Trojans. Because Troy does have a better record than Kentucky, and they won their conference tournament. I do put a lot of stock into that. Probably more than I should. Yeah, let's go with Kentucky's not losing in the first round again. They lost to a 14 seed last year. They're not losing in the first round again. I don't think they're a serious contender, but I don't think they're going to lose in the first game of the tournament either. Historically speaking, teams that UCLA, Utah State, I'm not sure who I like more between either of those teams. Let's go with Utah. I'm looking at my bracket right now. I took St. Mary's and I also took Marquette. We got to have a 10 seed win. So we'll take Utah State here. I know UCLA is a basketball powerhouse, but we're going to go. So that's what we have on that side of the bracket. And then we'll go back to the top here and we'll view the top 32 one more time. All right. Florida. The Florida Gators are going to move on. Okay, I don't know why we listed. Hold on. We messed up. Tennessee Volunteers. All right. We can't disrespect Tennessee like that. All right, so, and I'm going to go game by game. I'm not going to go round by round or region by region like some people do. I'm going to go game by game. UConn, I'm taking Connecticut to beat Oklahoma. I also love Colorado State in this bracket, as I previously alluded to. But I'm also going to take the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland, I'm going to take Maryland in that matchup over Grand Canyon because Maryland does have an NBA prospect. Missouri does not have an NBA prospect, so we're going to take the Drake Bulldogs, trendy 11 seed. I've got, I was going to take I was considering North Carolina as an 11 seed over Ole Miss. I was considering North Carolina is a team that I was giving consideration to as an upset. But I'm not going to go that route. All right. And then Drake. We have Drake. So Drake, we have Drake in the round of 32. Their opponent will be the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I like the Arkansas Razorbacks and Calipari to beat Kansas as a 10 seed and give me the give me St. John's in this side of the bracket. All right. So there we go. We have the round of 32 set. So no upsets yet. Nothing like there's a few upsets in the round of 64, but nothing monumental as far as the brackets go. Sweet 16, Auburn versus Creighton. Auburn has Johnny Broome, and Creighton has, but Auburn has the first round prospect. Creighton does not. So Auburn is going to play in that side of the bracket. And moving on, this is tough. I'm going to go with this is kind of tough, but I'm going to take Michigan to beat Yale. Michigan has a lot of momentum right now. Ole Miss, Iowa State. I do not like either of these teams, if I'm being completely honest. I do think we will see some drama in this side of the bracket. Give me Ole Miss. Give me the Ole Miss Rebels to come out of that bracket. And give me Marquette. The Marquette Golden Eagles. I have Marquette beating Michigan State. Michigan State does not have a first-round prospect. Marquette does. So give me the Marquette Golden Eagles to knock and Shaka Smart to knock out Tom Izzo. So as you can see, we've got a 1v5 matchup in the Sweet 16, and we've also got a 6v7 matchup. Very rare to see that, but let's go back here. We'll go back here. Duke is going to beat Baylor. Duke's pretty much in the Sweet 16. They will play Arizona. And then we're going to take BYU to upset Wisconsin. Another 6 seed knocks out another 3 seed. BYU, Igor Demon, they have that really good point guard. He's a top 10 pick. And Alabama will play BYU. And that will be the final. That'll be the final game in this side of the bracket. So I've got 2 6 seeds in the Sweet 16. It's very weird to say that, but I'm putting a lot of. First major upset is going to be here. I have the Georgia Bulldogs knocking out Houston in the round of 32. Asa Newell and the Georgia Bulldogs are knocking out Houston. And Clemson High Point, we're going to take Clemson. Clemson beat Duke. They looked very good earlier in the year. Illinois is going to beat Kentucky. They've got a top 5 draft pick. And Utah State, Tennessee, we're going to take Tennessee to beat Utah State. Yeah, I know I'm going to check the chat room to see if anybody has commented on my bracket yet. No, they have not. But yeah, we do have a lot of chaos happening in one of the brackets. There's always one bracket with a lot of chaos. But we're going to take the Florida Gators. We're going to take Colorado State. And St. John's. So you'll see. Okay, now that we've got to the Sweet 16, I'm very tempted to make some winners here. Auburn and Michigan, I can't. Both of these teams have a first-round prospect. So Auburn is going to beat Michigan. I can't stand Michigan. This is as far as the Wolverines are getting. And Marquette is going to be their opponent in the Elite Eight. So we're going to get an Auburn-Marquette Elite Eight with a 1 seed against a 7 seed. Next up, the Duke bracket. And Duke, they're going to play Alabama. Unless Alabama, because BYU does have Igor Demon, but here's the thing. Alabama has Labari and Pylon, and I believe they have a second first-round player. As good as Igor Demon is, they have Pylon, and I believe they have a second player in round 2 of this draft. Alex Condon's not a bad player for Florida, but yeah. So Walter Clayton Jr. is a good point guard for Florida. So Duke, they're going to play Alabama. That should not come as a surprise. Now, the next bracket is going to have some surprises. There's Marquette getting to the Elite Eight. That's kind of a surprise. I don't think there's any surprises in Duke's bracket. It's going to be Duke and Alabama at the end. Now, the next bracket below that is going to have some surprises. I have the Georgia Bulldogs knocking out Clemson to get to the Elite Eight. And I also have the Illinois Fighting Illini in the Elite Eight against Georgia. So Illinois is a 6 seed. I have a 6 seed, a 9 seed, a 7 seed. Florida, Colorado State. Very tempted to give Colorado State that Elite Eight bid, but I think I'm overplaying my hand. Florida did win the SEC tournament. I think they've earned the benefit of the doubt to some degree since the SEC has been the toughest conference in college basketball. But that's the thing. Florida does not have a first-round prospect. They have 2 second-round guys. Colorado State, very tempted to take Colorado State because Florida has 2 second-round prospects in the NBA draft. They don't have a first-round prospect. So Colorado State, Florida really is a coin flip game for me. Wes believes Colorado State could make the Final Four, and they could. They very well could. I think they are the dark horse of this bracket. But I also think taking them to beat the SEC champion Florida Gators is just, it's too rich for my blood. And we've got St. John's. All right, and that means my Final Four is going to feature Auburn, Duke, Illinois, and St. John's. I think Duke and Illinois are the 2 best teams left in this group of 4. I know Auburn's a consensus number 1 seed, but I'm very tempted to pick St. John's. I've got Duke in the championship, but I'm looking at yeah, I am going to change that. Never mind. I'm going to change it to Colorado State. I am going to change it. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna flip Florida to Colorado State. I might regret this, but I do have Colorado State in the Final Four as a 12 seed. So I have a 12 seed in the Final Four this year. But yeah, we're gonna get Auburn-Duke again. The rematch of Auburn versus Duke. That's gonna be the championship, and Duke is gonna win again. Maybe Auburn gets their revenge on Duke for the regular season game, but I'm gonna take the Duke Blue Devils to cut down the nets. So that is my bracket. And no, I'm going to change the I've got Arkansas beating St. John's, and man, so that's my bracket. So Duke, I have Duke beating Auburn, and we have a ton of drama, a ton of upsets. This might be my boldest, most ridiculous bracket yet. And I am surprised nobody has put me on blast for this bracket. I am genuinely surprised. And yeah, I know the lights are turned off. You can't see me, but okay, what do we got in the chat room here? Yeah, I was hoping. I do not care about others. I do not care about viewers on streamboo.com. No. I was hoping somebody would criticize my bracket so I could reply to them, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to take a quick picture of my bracket here. Maybe I'll turn the lights on before I sign off. But yeah, I'm pretty much ready to sign off here. I'll take a quick picture of my bracket, and you can see my face. But yeah, this is what I've got. That's going to be my bracket. All right. I'm Chris Ransom, signing off. Enjoy March Madness. I'll be back Wednesday for an interview, and I'll also be back Saturday for an interview. 72 live.